Hi Conley Clan fam! So today we're coming at you with some updates, and I've had some questions about the adoption, and things have been really hectic here because we have run into some issues. So the first thing that I want to do is show you guys some funny clips of Christian. His personality is really starting to come out, and I think the same thing about Logan too. Like, he's starting to just get this personality, but Christian's is really starting to shine, I feel like. And he has done some really funny things. So here are those clips.
What's wrong, Christian? Are you poopy?
Yeah.
I guess he's ready to get the poopy diapers off. Look at him. He's got the diaper. He's spread eagle. And he's got the wipes.
Are you ready to be changed?
I think he's ready to be potty trained. That's what I think.
I think you're right.
Well, I'm going to get some chips out.
Chippy out.
Chips. Lightly seasoned.
Stop!
Why?
No.
When you guys were done, I thought a bird was flying on there.
Stop!
And it was a guinea.
Daddy, Christian's not share the chips with me.
Very well. Christian loves to share.
These are my chips, right?
You can have those.
Because I think these are my favorite. Because they are going close to my best. Not me. Some of yours.
Oh no, what are you doing? You're eating ours now?
Christian, those
Come
are
on.
Mom and Dad's.
Come on, dude.
Come back, dude. I guess I'm gonna eat some biscuits.
Oh my gosh, Christian is so funny with the chips.
Yeah.
He is always pulling up the chair every time Sean gets into that cupboard to get chips out. So sometimes he'll get chips out in the evening before dinner, and he will grab that chair as soon as he sees him open that cupboard, and he will bring it over so he can get up there and reach the chips.
Yeah, he loves those chips, boy.
It is so funny. And then if we have dip there, he will take, like a teeny tiny little piece of chip and then scoop the dip so it's like his fingers are covered in it. And, oh my gosh, I just think he's so funny sometimes.
Yeah, he is.
Next, we tried. Now, we did have a viewer mention to us about fixing the guinea's foot, because the guinea has a bad foot. One of our guineas has a bad foot. And I think it might be a female, but we're not 100% sure. But it seems like it's having a really hard time. Now its leg is starting to kind of go sideways. So we thought, we looked up what the viewer had said, and it was actually a real thing. Like, we could do it ourselves. And so we tried that. So here is us trying to fix the guinea's foot.
Okay, today we are going to attempt to fix our guinea's I guess it's called curly toe, but one of her legs, when we got her, was malformed. I kind of assumed that it was a problem in development of the tendon in her foot, but we have had a viewer that had mentioned those can be fixed and corrected. So we looked it up and did a little research, and we're going to give it a try, and I thought I would just show you how this is done, and hopefully we do it right. But so here we go. this leg's going to have to turn around, and maybe because of the new way she's hitting the ground, it may start to want to come around, but I don't remember it being that bad before.
I don't either.
Like this leg is, well, it's about the same. So we spread the toes out as best we can. So we will see how this works, or doesn't, in 2 weeks.
See how she does.
Oh, she looks weird. Oh no. Why she gets hot?
I think she'd be less likely to get caught up because her toes aren't. Oh!
What? She pooped on you!
The hazards of having a farm. Now, after we went to all that work and I got pooped on, it came off.
Yeah, like right away.
Yeah.
So all of our work and, you know, it's okay. I think we're going to have to try something a little bit more, I don't know. We used duct tape, as you guys saw, and it just didn't work. It came off right away, and I don't know if the claws are too long and it was able to cut through. I don't know.
Well, we even doubled it up, and we were worried that the duct tape was going to be too much. Like it would stick too well. And then it was like 30 minutes later, and we went out there, and it already had it off.
So we will probably try it again. We'll probably clean the its leg off a little bit better in its foot, at least with some soap and water, and dry it off, and then try the duct tape again.
We didn't want to freak it out too much, so we were trying to do only what we had to, but
And it wasn't like you could use a Band-Aid around, you know, the leg of it to keep it up on the foot, because you'd cut blood supply off and everything else to the foot. So we might give it one more try before it gets much older, because it will be harder and harder and take longer and longer to get that thing to come around and sit right.
Yeah, and hopefully once we get it on there and get it to stay, it's like a couple weeks, and hopefully it will work. Hopefully it's not too old. Okay, so now Jade, she loves sharing things with you guys, and she's always asking me to pick up the camera because she wants to tell you guys stuff. She's so cute. So here's something that happened to her that she wanted to share. Jade.
What?
What happened?
I got stung by a bee.
Oh, how did that happen? Oh yeah, let's show them.
Mom put Neosporin on.
Yes, we did put some Neosporin on it, and first we iced it, and then put some Neosporin on it.
I was crying.
Yes.
I came in crying. At first I didn't even feel anything, but then when it was stinging me, I went bang, and then I looked down, the bee. And then I started crying. I think it might just be in my head that it hurt.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. Like you think a bee sting should hurt, so then it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Izzy with the cheese.
Yeah. But you came in and we got you to calm down, and you did good, and we iced it and put some Neosporin on it that has pain reliever in it.
That's the second time I've got stung by a bee.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And I wasn't even looking at it or anything.
It was like hanging out by the chicken coop.
I was by the chickens and guineas and everything, just tossing them a cracker to see if the guineas would come to me, and they did. And then it just stung me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know.
On a positive note, the guineas are starting to take food out of your hand.
I know.
Isn't that cool? So I bet you they're going to be friendly just like the chickens.
Yeah.
That will be neat.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want to show everybody, right over here, we hung our laundry out. And like I told everybody, it's like a rain dance. Because what happened as soon as the girls hung their laundry, because this is Lily and Isabella's day over here today, look at that. What happened?
Rain.
It started raining every time.
I know.
We even put this line on the front porch so that way it actually hides it from the rain. But what happens is it's really not warm enough, or it takes forever for them to dry.
Yeah.
Because it's really not very hot.
Now we have to throw them in the squeaky dryer.
The squeaky dryer, I know. And we think we found out there's some change that fell down in there, and it's squeaking. And Dad pulled some out.
Really?
Yes,
How
I think
much?
there's just a couple. Oh my gosh, Jade.
I need money.
I think there's some more in there though, because it's still squeaking. So we got to open it back up and get it out. Maybe you can help him and get paid.
Yeah.
So thankfully it was just a bee sting, but there are so many critters out here. We
Yeah.
actually did see a snake actually a couple. We've seen a couple snakes now.
Yeah.
We hadn't until just the other day, and now we've seen a couple of them. They're small and they're non-poisonous,
Yeah.
which thank God.
Yeah, I found out through a neighbor how to kind of identify the good and the bad ones. Bad being venomous, and the ones you have to worry about. You know, their tails come down and they don't taper for a long ways. They come down real fat and then it just basically stops or cuts off. And those are the ones you've got to worry about. Water moccasins look like that. I'm sure a lot of you have seen or at least seen pictures of those. And obviously we've got the rattlesnakes, and they kind of do the same thing, but then they've got a rattle on the end, which makes it very obvious.
Right. Well, and so far these have been really small, so I don't know if they're babies or if they're just small snakes. But
Yeah, this little snake the other night, who was it that saw that? John or
Jade.
Jade, yeah. This darn, it's probably what, a foot long,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Which is still a baby, it looked like
Yeah,
to
it
me.
did.
But it actually got a hold of the back end of
A toad.
a toad or a frog,
Yeah.
and had it in its lurches, and we had some crying going on.
Yeah, we did.
And a lot of the kids kind of freaked out. But John took care of that and got rid of the snake and freed the poor toad.
Toad up, yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy to see, because snakes can just open their jaws so far that,
Right.
I mean, the toad must have been like 5 times the size of its mouth.
Yeah.
But it still was, it's crazy.
You've got a picture of that, too.
I do have a picture of that, yeah. I'll put it in here. Okay, so then we've been trying to go to the beach as much as we possibly can. It's hard because when you're here, you get kind of wrapped up in everyday life. You're doing the things that need to be done around the house, and just school and breakfast, lunch, dinners, like all of that stuff is a lot of work when you have a large family.
Yeah.
But we don't want to forget why we are here, because we really moved to this area because we loved the ocean.
Yeah.
So we were able to go to the beach again, and the kids had a blast.
Yep.
We wanted to make sure that we get some beach time in, so here we are at the beach again. We came to the Padre Island National Seashore. The kids are going to have some fun for a few hours, and then we'll try to make it back home for some dinner. John's digging a hole. What are you digging a hole for?
Little holes in the ground. That's hoping. Right, but we can't find any.
You're looking for crabs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no crabs in that hole though.
I got oozle.
Maybe the next one.
Take it time to pack it down.
I got oozle.
I like it. Because I found it. It's a squid.
I told you. I'm never going back in this water.
I just wanted to show you guys the water out here because it is so blue today, and it just looks so beautiful, and then the sky is so clear. It is a beautiful day. Even though it's hot, there is definitely a breeze, a nice windy breeze that's keeping us cool, but the water out here is just gorgeous. Don't you think?
I like the things that I found.
Oh yeah, actually you did. That is cool. I don't think that was a squid because it had some bones in it, but that was pretty cool actually. So as much fun as the beach was, we have been having some crazy problems around the house. And I think that happens anytime you move into a house. You just have to update things. And
Yeah.
so first was, and I know I shared with you guys a little bit that we ran into we ran into the neighboring town, so we could get some stuff for our septic. And you were able to fix that, so
Yeah.
that's taken care of.
Yeah, it was, we have a great set of neighbors, and one of the older gentlemen that we know, that's a neighbor, had some experience with this particular septic system through the previous owners. So he came over within 10 minutes of calling his son and helped us locate where the actual tank was, and that helped tremendously. You know, an hour later we had it uncovered, and now at least I know the workings and what all that looks like under the ground, where it's at, and how to fix it. So we've got some backup measures in place now in case we ever do have an issue. So that's always a unpleasant job, dealing with sewage.
Gross. But I'll tell you, I'm glad that you know now what's under there and what it looks like and what's going on.
Right.
And then the other thing I feel like is, John got a little bit of experience. Every time we do something, John gets more and more experience with things, so that way when he goes off and he's on his own, he's able to take care of things himself too. And it is so nice having someone that, Sean, that can do that stuff, because otherwise it gets so costly. And you being able to do that stuff yourself is so nice.
Well, when you're out in the middle of nowhere, really, it's going to be a half-hour trip for anybody just to get here.
Yeah.
And they're charging mileage now for basically any type of contractor work, subcontractor work, I should say. And it before they even get to your door, you've got probably $125 into his trip. Which makes it very expensive to even have him here for an hour at that point.
Yep.
So it's
that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to work on it yourself if you can.
Yeah,
and there's going to be things I'm not going to be able to do, but
well, then it must have been a day or two later, and Sean was trying to look at something, and our power went out. And oh my gosh, our air conditioning, when you turn the power back on, the air conditioner stopped working. And okay, now keep in mind, we're in South Texas, and thank God it's not 100 every day anymore. It's only like 90 or maybe 88 each day now, which is nice that we've had the break in the weather. But not having the air conditioning when it's still that hot is unpleasant. Well, the humidity down here, I think anytime you're around the water, but we've had a lot of rain in the previous weeks, and it makes it really, really humid. And it's humid back home, but this humidity hits you pretty hard. But when that went out, you've got about 15 minutes to get it restarted. Your house is now 75, now it's 80. Yeah.
It's getting humid, and I didn't panic because I figured it was going to be a pretty easy fix. So it was not what we anticipated. Believe it or not, when I had taken the panel off, I can't remember the reason I took the panel off.
To take a picture of the fuses?
To figure out what kind of fuses they were using in this panel. And when I did that and took it off, it must have hit a couple of our breakers. The breakers shut off on one side, and the other side stayed on, but something caused the breakers on that other side of the panel. Either a power surge, I think, is probably what happened. The breaker was old, and I was able to use my multimeter tester to find which one of the breakers was bad, because it was all mislabeled. What said condenser and AC unit was not. It was the main shutoff.
Yeah.
So I was a little confused at that point. But once we identified the problem, we were able to find one at the local lumber store, which is McCoy's, which I'm thrilled that we finally found this one, because back home it's Menards, and they carry everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, literally you can get groceries there and find your fuse, breaker.
Right.
I mean,
so it took us a day for you to diagnose it. And then after you finally diagnosed it, it was, we had to run into Refugio to get a multimeter to diagnose it. So that was a trip. Then we get here, then you diagnose it. Then it was a trip to Beeville so we could get the
part.
Get the part. And so finally it was like a day and a half.
Yeah.
And we had our AC back on.
Hallelujah.
And we
oh my gosh.
do we really appreciate air conditioning now?
Yeah. We have 3 AC units in the house.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
2 of them are they're both smaller than the main unit for the house, but
so we weren't without
we
AC.
weren't without, but it was warm at night trying to sleep, and it was uncomfortable during the day. So
the main part of the house is what went out.
Yeah.
Our add-on area has an air conditioner that was still working, and the add-on bedroom where the girls sleep had an air conditioner that was still working. So we still had AC, I guess, but it just makes you appreciate your main house AC that much more.
Doubt.
And then so then just yesterday we were coming back from town, and all of a sudden my phone stopped working. And I'm like, why isn't my phone working? And so then we get home, and I just couldn't get it to work. So then it was a couple hours later, it was evening, time for the kids to go to bed, and our internet goes out. And we're like, well, that's weird. Well, then Sean's phone stops working, and it was the weirdest thing. We had no internet, and there's 2 separate companies. So we had no internet at the house. Our cell phones wouldn't work, so we had no Wi-Fi. And we were having, you can't, at that point you can't do anything. You can't use the apps on your phone.
Right.
You can't call anybody. We were able to somehow get text messages sent occasionally. And then you were able to make a phone call here and there. Like it would pop on for a little bit, and then it would pop back off. It was so odd, I felt like.
It was odd because we've spent months down here now. It's probably our 4th full month of being down here, not in a row, but we've never even had a glitch in our Verizon service.
Never.
And the internet company has been really good.
Yeah, it's very.
But so when both things were down, and they were only down for like 12 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit longer. It starts to make you worry a little bit. You hear all these things about cyber attacks and what happened up in Canada. And you've got that in the back of your mind, and when you're out here and that happens, you're quickly calling neighbors, finding out, hey, what's going on with your service? And
it was crazy. Yeah. But it's back on now, and everything's working, and it's fine. It's just was a little perplexing, I feel like, in the moment, because it's like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
2 separate companies, nothing's working. We have no way to get a hold of anybody. I mean, we could have drove down the street, but...
Yeah. I have done some research on getting a satellite phone where if the internet goes down, the cell towers go down, you can still use your satellite phone. It's similar to a ham radio type of connection, but supposedly you can use it anywhere you use your cell phone. You can use that satellite phone, and it's only like $99 a month service, and you've got to pay it every month to have the service, but you would really be guaranteed a way to communicate if things do go down.
Something happened, Then the girls have just been bugging me because they wanted to make cakes for the neighbors. The neighbors are so nice, and they're always doing things for us, and we thought it would be a good idea to do something for them.
Yeah.
And so the girls really, really, really wanted to make cakes. So they did that.
So we have some lovely neighbors that have helped us over the months when we've been here. And they've helped us with a lot of stuff like get our groceries for us and water our plants when we were gone and get mom and dad out of being stuck in the mud.
We got a little stuck, and we can't get out. So, isn't that funny? Even with a 4-wheel drive truck. Okay. So we have called our friends down the road that are our neighbors, and they are coming to get us out.
So we decided to make 3 lovely cakes for the 3 lovely families that have helped us. And they all say thank you, and we have some cards.
Last night we delivered them, and one of the neighbors swang by today and picked hers up.
Yeah.
And then the gift card that you guys saw, we got her. So yeah, that was fun to take those, and the girls really enjoyed doing that, and they were thankful. Send us pictures of the kids eating the cake, and
it's interesting here. I don't think we really mind it very much back home when people pop in on you.
Yeah.
But around here, everybody has a front gate, and
Yeah.
they've got their property all fenced off, so you don't get in unless you're invited. Well, the big thing, it seems, is instead of popping in on people, you call them and say, "Let's meet at the gate." So that's what's happened the last
That's
few
what we've
times.
been doing, yeah.
And that way, you don't have to worry about what your house looks like. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that's nice. And it was nice of the girls to do that for them. They were so proud of themselves.
Yeah, they did a
And-
good job.
Yeah, they did do a good job. They're like, we hope you like chocolate.
Yeah.
Because it was a chocolate cake.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, we've been watching the weather. August was really weird because there was absolutely no hurricanes or tropical storms or anything, which I guess hasn't happened for a very long time.
Yeah.
But now the oceans are active, and we are watching that because there have been several storms, not necessarily hurricanes, but storms that had the potential of forming in the Gulf.
Mm-hmm.
But we are keeping an eye on that because we are leaving here in about a week and a half.
Yeah.
But just in case something happens in that week and a half.
Yeah, yeah, and when we're there too. I mean, our neighbors are going to be able to tell us how things went. But Refugio was hit directly by Hurricane Harvey, about
Yep.
I think it's been 5 years now. And it did very well. I mean, I don't think there was much damage to our home. There was some damage to our a couple of outbuildings. I
Yep.
understand they retinned them and things like that. So this particular spot is on a hill, but not a big hill.
No.
Just enough to create a breeze.
Yeah.
And it has survived a direct hit hurricane. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident
Yeah.
that we'll be okay, one way or another.
Yeah.
And I don't want to jinx ourselves, but
Yeah,
at the
right.
same time, it has proven itself to be a good location, and
Yes.
it must be secured down well.
Yeah, which is that's reassuring.
Yeah,
But still, and you want to be able to prepare for things like that too. And
yeah,
we have some things at home that we've prepared. Like we have a pantry for emergency stuff and some emergency water and things like that. And we have tornadoes there. But, we need to probably do that. I haven't done a whole lot here. We haven't been here a lot. And we don't have a lot of storage yet. We haven't moved in a lot of furniture. And so we just need to get some storage things so we can actually do that stuff.
yeah, yeah.
So one last thing, and that is Logan. I know everybody is wondering about what's going on, and it's hard because we'll go several months between court hearings, and so a lot really doesn't happen. There have been a couple things. We have court at the end of September. That is the disposition hearing. So, and I've said before, I'm not even 100% sure what disposition is. So we're having that, and so we'll see what happens there.
This is a good example, though, of we're sitting in the same exact spot, I believe, that we were when we first talked about
Yeah.
the idea of going to get him or him being
Yeah.
brought to us and taking that on. And it's been 4 months, I think, now, isn't it?
Yeah, he is 4.5 months old, so yeah.
I mean, it's been 4 months, and really, there hasn't been much happen.
No.
And, we were talking about it back then, about, we've been through this. They know that Mom wants the baby to come to us.
Yep.
We've worked with Iowa before, and on and on and on. Well, we figured 6 months into this, it'd be over. I mean, we'd have things completed, we'd have the adoption finalized, and we are 4 months in, and there hasn't even been TPR or rights been.
We're not even close. I feel like we're not even close to TPR, but
No.
I mean, you have the disposition hearing, you have the permanency hearing, then you have TPR, and so it's crazy to me because we knew about him before she even had him. We were asked to take him. We said yes, and at this point now, I feel like we're stuck because we went back and we said yes, we'll take him. We thought it was going to be a quick thing, and now it's proving that it's not going to move any quicker than anything else ever. And so now we have these 2 houses, we have these 2 payments, and that was never our intention.
Well, and as a lot of you know, we went through a housing bubble when we were thinking about selling our Omaha house, and it was at the peak of, the bubble, and we chose not to act at that point because we needed to have a home site in Nebraska to make the adoption happen, and and the interest rates keep climbing, and I understand inflation and all kinds of stuff is spiraling, and so we're going to take a hit. I mean, there's no doubt, and I don't think we're going to have any problem if we do decide to sell in our neighborhood, but we don't know.
No, we have a very good neighborhood, and it's a very sought after neighborhood, and so I think we'll be fine. But with that being said, we could have sold at the peak of peaks, like ever.
Like, housing boom.
Yeah, and we couldn't because we wanted to, or we have to keep that house to finalize the adoption. And we've tried and tried and tried. I've made phone calls to try to figure out some way to sell that house and move here and do it through here. And it's just not possible. And so we have to have that Omaha house. We've tried to think about everything. We'd have to either sell this house and keep that one to not have 2 house payments. We'd have to sell that one, keep this one, but we'd have to give up Logan.
Yeah.
It really stinks. It really does.
Yeah, and we're committed to the adoption, and we love the little guy.
Oh yeah.
But it has turned out to be a long, drawn out ordeal. Probably be 12 months, a year or so by the time it's all done.
Yep.
And we are just counting that God has got this, and there's a reason why we still have our Omaha house. And maybe we need to keep it, so.
Maybe there's something that we're not seeing yet.
Yeah, and maybe we'll see that later down the line.
Yeah. But that doesn't make it any less frustrating. So our plans right now are we're going to go back at the end of this month, and then we will probably come back again at the beginning of the year. We'll probably spend holidays with our family and then come back here right after that. And that will be, I feel like that's the perfect time too, because it starts to get freezing there. It snows a lot, and that is something that I don't want to have to deal with. So coming here, and the weather hopefully should be nice.
Yeah.
So we will just ride out the wave, I guess, and we're hoping and praying that there's something out there that can move it along faster, especially knowing that and she has actually said that she has. Expressed that she wants him with us, and so we're just praying that maybe something can move it along faster, but otherwise it will be probably a long ride. But we are, as far as updates go, we have court at the end of the month, and we're just going to keep writing out the court hearings. We are at the mercy of the courts, and he is getting bigger and bigger, though. I'm taking all kinds of footage so we can show you guys once we can finally show you him. But he is rolling over and, oh my gosh, laughing and cooing.
He's one of the smiliest little babies I think we've had.
He is so smiley. Somebody just mentioned it at the store the other day. They're like, oh my gosh, he just has the best smile. And his eyes just kind of light up, and oh my gosh, he's just so cute. And he's getting bigger. We're going into 3 to 6 month clothes, and so at his checkup, I'll have to find out what he weighs, because gosh, I bet you he weighs probably 14 pounds, 15 pounds, something like that. But I feel like he's still so short. I look at him,
he eats all the time.
Oh my gosh, he does.
It's all he does.
Yeah, seriously. He eats every 2.5 or 3 hours.
Which is great. I mean, he's healthy.
Yes. All right, well, I think that is it for today's update video. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and we will see you next time. Bye.